But it's also, yeah, and it's interesting as far as like you teaching English and things of that nature. You kind of, as an English teacher, you have to have standards in terms of what you're teaching your students and things of that nature. And I noticed recently, it might have been a day or two ago.
Oh God.
You already know where I'm going with this, maybe a little bit, maybe.
No, I have no clue.
You again, I stalk you. You put up a tweet not too long ago as far as talking about, because I noticed like when it comes to like during my time in Japan, when it came to Japanese people that wanted to learn English, they always wanted to learn the curse words.
Right. Oh, I think I deleted that tweet.
You know what I'm talking about,
Yeah.
right? There was somebody that said that it was okay to teach curse words or something of that nature or whatever, and you kind of took an exception to that. Can you explain? And it has this relation to how you teach English.
Okay. I think like that tweet was basically saying there are people who say using curse words is like an everyday thing.
And you can curse if you want to.
Yeah. And then there were a lot of people who were like, no, people use curse words all the time. And that's so not true. And I was like, yeah, I responded to that. But anyway, when I tutor English, I don't use any textbooks. I first sound out what the students' needs are, what kind of scenarios they want to first be able to speak English with. So sometimes it's just like simple as ordering something while they're traveling. Other times it's being able to communicate better in their business environment. So I just sound out different needs like that and then just prepare like a little handout and just go over them. So I don't know, I guess the standard is getting away from textbook as much as possible, I guess. Because people get bored, and if it's textbooks, from what I experienced, like a lot of my students felt like that was the only way, but I also wanted to kind of let them know that this isn't the only way. This is just like one of the many approaches that you can take, one of the many phrases you can use in whatever situation. And just let them know that there are just many ways to describe and say things in English, and there's just not only one way. Yeah, and I also make sure to kind of teach phrases, several different phrases for one scenario. If they want to learn more vocabulary, I make sure to also compile them with like a lot of synonyms as well, so they can choose what word it's easy for them to use when they're actually speaking, rather than just teaching, okay, for the word A, this is the word, and just let that be the only answer.
Yeah, I mean, well, both me and like if you wanted to find a certain book that had whatever word you want to learn in it, you could find it. I think where I was going with it was just that is more so is just like, okay, like if you're gonna try to learn a language, just don't do it for like the the informal type of perspective. You know what I mean? Like, okay, so for example, and I hate to use myself as an example, but hey, like when I was living in Tokyo, I really didn't have the structure as far as sitting in a class and having a textbook. From time to time, I may get flashcards from once in a while, but like, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, for the most part, my conversational Japanese came from just picking it up on the street. But when you pick it up on the street, that's when you get a lot of the informalities. You don't get the keigo, the actual proper, like you're supposed to actually say this because you're talking to this person. You're talking to this person, you're actually supposed to use this tense and things of that nature. And that's why I was thinking, I was like, is that what she's pretty much going towards? Like, it's probably not a good idea to learn this side of the language until you get the basic part. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, because like I think the level of formality differs from person to person, because like based on their priorities of what sort of scenario is important for them to first be able to use English in. I think if it's just being able to like make friends at a bar or something, you don't need that much formality. But if it's like being able to talk to a foreign boss in a more polite, professional way, then like you obviously have to learn a more polite phrase rather than informal way of casually speaking to them. So I always make sure to check what kind of scenario is the most urgent scenario for them to be able to master English in. And then just kind of tweak it up from there. I would be like, oh, if you want to sound even more polite, then you can ask, instead of saying, hey, can you look over this? You can say, I was wondering, could you take a look at this? Or like something like that. And then they would be like, oh, you know, I have more capacity to put more words in one sentence and I can sound more polite. Like, I don't know if that answered your question.
No, that's for sure. No, that makes sense.